Namaste. Today I'm going to read Volume 2, Book 2, Rudra Samhita, Part 3, Chapter 47, the ceremonious entry of Shiva into the inner apartments of the palace of Himavat in the Shiva Puran. Om Vakratramagaya Surikoti. Hariom Tat Sat. Brahma said, then the chief of mountains caused the investiture rite with the sacred thread for Parvati and Shiva, with the Vedic hymns recited enthusiastically. Then Vishnu, the other gods, and the sages entered the inner apartments of the palace of the mountain enthusiastically at the request of Himachala. After performing the conventional rites in accordance with the Vedic injunctions and the social customs, they decorated Parvati with the ornaments provided by Shiva. First of all, she was bathed, then bedecked with the ornaments. The Nirajana rites too were also performed by the maids and Brahmin women, the daughter of the mountain and the beloved of Shiva. The lovely lady shone with the pair of fresh clothes. Usage, an exquisite divine jacket studded with various gems, were worn by the goddess, who shone all the more. She wore a necklace studded with divine gems. Costly bangles of pure gold were worn by her. The lovely lady, the daughter of the great mountain, the mother of the three worlds, staying there, itself meditated on Shiva and shone thereby. Then there was great jubilation, delighting both the sides. Different kinds of charitable gifts were distributed among the Brahmins. Monetary gifts were distributed among others. They were diverse. Many songs were sung jubilantly. Then Vishnu, I, the Creator, Indra and other gods, as well as the sages, joined in jubilation with great pleasure. Then after bowing humbly to Parvati with devotion and remembering the lotus-like feet of Shiva, they returned to their camps, obtaining the permission of Himavat. In the meantime, Garga, a great expert in the science of astrology, spoke to Himavat, the lord of mountains. Garga said, O Himavat, O lord or father of Parvati, now fetch Shiva to your palace for the marriage rites. Brahma said, on realizing that the auspicious time for the marriage rites had been intimated by Garga, the mountain rejoiced much. With the desire to bring Shiva there, the mountain gladly sent mountains, Brahmins, and others. The mountains and Brahmins were auspicious, holy objects in their hands, jubilantly went to the place where Lord Shiva stood. Then the sound of the Vedic chants, musical instruments, songs and dances jubilantly arose there. On hearing the loud sound of musical instruments, trumpets, etc., the attendants of Shiva simultaneously got up joyously along with the gods and sages. With great joy in their minds, they said to one another, Oh, here come the mountains to take Shiva over there. The auspicious hour for marriage rites has come. We consider that our fortune is eminent. Indeed, we are highly blessed as to witness the marriage ceremony of Shiva and Parvati, highly portentous of the good fortune of the worlds. Brahma said, even as these confabulations were going on, the ministers of the Lord of Mountains came there. They approached Shiva, Vishnu and others, and made their submission that the time for the celebration of marriage had arrived and that they would please hasten to the palace. On hearing that, O sage, Vishnu and others rejoiced much and cried shouts of victory to the mountain. Shiva too rejoiced much, eager that he was approaching Parvati, but kept the signs of joy within his mind alone in a wonderfully serene manner. Then the ceremonial ablution with the sacred articles of toilet was performed by the delighted trident-bearing Lord, eager to bless the worlds. The bath being over, he wore fine clothes. He was attended upon by the guardians of the quarters and surrounded by several others. He was then seated on the shoulders of the bull. With the Lord in front, all of them entered the palace of Himavat, playing on various musical instruments and exhibiting their eagerness. The Brahmins, sent by Himavat and the excellent mountains, enthusiastically went ahead of Shiva. The great royal umbrella was held aloft over the great Lord. He was fanned by chowries, and a canopy was spread over him. Vishnu, Indra, the other guardians of the quarters, and I, going ahead, shone with great brilliance and splendor. In that great festivity, conchs were blown, drums were beaten, and the musical instruments, pataha, anaka, and gomukha, were played on repeatedly. Musicians sang auspicious songs. Dancing girls danced to the tune. Accompanied by these, attended upon by all important gods, and with flowers showered on him delightedly, the sole kingsman of the universe walked ahead, shedding lordly splendor. Lord Shiva, eulogized with many hymns of praise, entered the sacrificial altar. He was duly worshipped. The excellent mountains jubilantly made Shiva dismount the bull and lovingly took him within. After duly bowing to Shiva, who arrived there with the gods and gunners, Himavat performed the Nirajana with great devotion. Praising his own good luck and bowing to all the gods, sages, and others jubilantly, he honored them suitably. The mountain, after offering Padya and Arghya to them, took Shiva along with Vishnu and the important gods within. In the quadrangle inside, he made us, Vishnu, Shiva, and other important persons, sit on gem-set thrones. The Nirajana rites was then performed by Meena, her maids, and the Brahmin women, as well as other ladies of the city with joy. The necessary rites, such as offering of Madhuparka, etc., to Shiva, the Supreme Soul, were joyously performed by the priest, who knew his duties. O sage, urged by me, the priest carried out the auspicious rites, relevant to the context after entering the enclosure where the altar had been built along with Himavat. Parvati, bedecked in all her ornaments, was seated as the bride. She was seated over the raised platform, and Shiva was led along with Vishnu and me. Waiting for the auspicious Lagna befitting marriage, Brahaspati and others became jubilant. Garga was seated in the place where the chronometer had been kept. The Omkara mantra was repeated during the interval before the Lagna. Repeating the Punyaha mantras, Garga lifted the handful of rice grains and handing them over to Parvati, he made her shower it on Shiva. Shiva was duly worshipped by the joyful and sweet-faced Parvati with the rice grains mixed with curd and darba water. Gazing at Shiva, for whom great penance had been performed by her formerly, Parvati shone beaming with pleasure. Requested by me and the sages, Garga and others, Shiva, following the worldly conventions, worshipped her. Thus, worshipping each other, Shiva and Parvati, identifying themselves with the universe, shone well. Both of them, enveloped by the glory of the three worlds and gazing at each other, were offered the Nirajana by Lakshmi and other ladies peculiarly. The Brahmin ladies and the citizen ladies performed the Nirajana rites. All of them derived great pleasure and gaiety on seeing Shiva and Parvati. Footnotes. (107) Ghatika, or water clock, was not only useful for carrying the nuptial program at proper times, but was also symbolic of time that ruled over the entire universe. Here in today's reading of the Shiva Puran. Om Prabhu Pranaratam Vyum Veshwanatam Jagannataratam Santabhajam Bhutipitam Vaishram Bhutanatam Shivam Shakaram Om Kapura Gauram Karanavrataram Sansara Saram Bhujgindaya Sava Santa Varidara Bhavam Bhavami Saitam Om Nama Parvati Patayara Om Jum Sambhuru Samtrambakam Mejamaskum Vishtivaram. Om Tua Mata Chapitatu Hari Om Tat Sat.